Hello and welcome to my podcast, guys. My name is Johnguira. I'm a freelance photographer based in New York City, and this is my first episode, my first podcast episode, which is going to focus on many different broad subjects, not just photography, but at the same time, it's going to allow me to share a conversation with you based on my reality, my personal experience in different fields and things I have gone through before. And why not start with one of the main things that me and many others are struggling with, and is as an introvert that I think I am, is actually the struggle to be able to reach out and probably establish a conversation with other professionals that sometimes we find in the field. At least sometimes that's what happens to me. Unfortunately, one of my biggest mistakes is that I focus just in my work so much that I kind of like tune out and I literally don't see what the heck is going on my left and right. I'm aware of the things that are around me. I'm just saying that I don't try to engage as I should, and I think that's something that could result in a positive way if I go ahead and talk to somebody that is next to me or say hi or compliment somebody. I'll give you an example. Let's say I'm working on a set and I just happen to be the still photographer for that day. There are downtimes, there are breaks that we take here and there, and you get to meet amazing people that are experts in their field. If it's the actual camera guys, the operating camera crew, the riggers, the people that are part of the making of a movie and things like that. I mean, these are people that sometimes you kind of like want to talk to. There's makeup artists there as well that I could say something to, and we can kind of like exchange information and things like that. Those are the things that I tend to regret a lot that I don't do, that I am going to start working on harder now, because we forget that there's so much to learn and so much to win out of just one conversation, something that you did not plan, but all of a sudden you're there with somebody that knows something that you don't, and that they're experts on what they do. And why not tap into their knowledge to learn something, even if it doesn't mean photography, even if it doesn't have to be with your specific expertise. I think that that is a moment that we can all embrace and take advantage of. Don't get me wrong, I've done it before. I had moments where I almost regret it, and that is because it didn't turn out well. Why? Because maybe I got kind of like ignored, and not everybody's in the same mind space, of course. Um, Not everybody has good days and things like that. But I understand that you have to choose the right time, and maybe what the right time is for you is the wrong time for somebody else. Even if it's break time, even if it's whatever. I mean, you have to understand that everybody's their own universe, and not everybody's gonna respond how you think. But the one thing that you definitely have to apply is respect. Respects people's space and things like that. That's what I do. The idea is that a conversation will start something that you yourself may not know. You may find yourself having more opportunities just because a conversation got started, and these are the things that I would definitely want to see myself work on a lot harder. And I think I have to get out of my head. I know that I'm not alone in this conversation. I know that lots of us tend to look at the phone and kind of like just tune out, and I'm one of those. But I think that we also have to understand that there is something amazing about having a one-on-one with somebody that you not necessarily are expecting to have. But if you have the time, if you're sharing the same space in the same moment, even if it's a hi, even if it's a good morning, it you don't know. I mean, that alone can put you in a better situation, because we live in a world where we don't know who we're going to work with. And at the same time, I think that the more people you know in your field and different fields, the more job opportunities that you could have. And I think that's one of the things that I wanted to put out there in this podcast. So I'm still struggling with that, and I'm making it a habit to be more aware. And even if I'm at work, just be aware of other things that are going on around me that have nothing to do with me, but at the same time could probably allow me to, at some point or another throughout the day, be able to engage, have a conversation with somebody. um, and of course, I mean, things are a little bit different now with this pandemic, nobody wants to be in your face with a with a face mask, right? Because we're gonna feel a little different about that. But there's still a way to go around it. There's still a way to make things happen. There's still a way to have a conversation and be human and just talk about the things that we are doing at the moment. I mean, there's no way that you do not have a subject at the moment. If you are in a job setting, and again, this goes more towards these jobs like a photography, setting, like a film set, or a music production. I mean, these are the things that you can take advantage of because you're working with people that could be your sources for something in the future. And that's something that I need to understand, and yeah, everybody may not, again, hit you back up, and maybe it's a one time that you got to know that person, and all of a sudden they disappear, and it's fine, that's okay. But at the end of the day, the practice should be for me to try to get to know as much people as I can, and learn what they do, so that as you go on with your life, now you can actually have a conversation, because you will eventually you're going to learn something, and that's something that you learn, you can use it in another conversation with somebody that is you doing something similar, and there you go. So now you have a common thread, and you can create a conversation, and now you get out of your head, and that's it, and then call it a day. So I think that is a tip for me, and I know that lots of people are in the same boat just like me, and it's all right. It's something that some of us um, are aiming to work with, and I think that nowadays, I think that the one-on-ones are necessary, because I think that communication, even if it's not about professional stuff, is key. Speaking to a human being and complimenting their work, you could make somebody's day by that, and that person could probably maybe not even expect it. And the fact that you say something positive to them can definitely spark a different frequency to them, and vice versa. And I think that is kind of like something that we all need. We all need a little bit more positivity. Definitely, nobody will cancel you because you're making them feel good. That's for sure. Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. This was my first podcast. It's a little short. I hope that later on, I can reach out to other people, and it would be awesome to have people in my community, especially in Washington Heights, New York City, to come up and have a cool interview, and just share this platform with them, and vice versa, so that we can kind of like have something to talk about, and learn from one another. That would be awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys, and I'll see you on the next one.